Well, you're in the right place. I'm Chef Tina Martini, but you might know me as the Medicine Chef. Welcome to the Ageless Kitchen, where we're going to do everything plant-based and in ways that people won't even know. Do you have a copy of my book yet? It's Delicious Medicine, The Healing Power of Food. If you do, go ahead, Chef, and turn to page 28. Let's make the tofu French toast. Now, before everybody gets crazy about the soy, let's remember that an entire country avoided cancer by eating tofu and soy until we brought our fast food over. So it's not the soy that's the challenge, it's what we've done to it as usual. So I've already put the block of extra firm tofu. Drain off any extra water, chefs, we don't need that in there. And so the extra firm is going to make a really nice, really rich custard that's going to adhere to our bread really nicely. So this is the one I used. I like the more new, and again, it's the extra firm, and you're going to look for the non-GMO because we definitely don't want any genetically modified soy. Remember, genistein and diazian are round in nature, and they actually block damaged hormone receptors, and that prevents a tumor from being formed. So this guy, it's a wellness tool that should be in your toolbox. All right, so we've got the block in. I've drained off the extra water, as I said, just in your blender. You can do it in your food processor. We need a little sweetener, and we need something that's gonna help caramelize that French toast for us. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of good quality maple syrup. You can use any sweetener that you like, chefs, but the maple syrup, it's gonna be on top of the French toast, so having it in the custard as well is a really good idea. Got some really good quality vanilla here, and again, I try to stick with the organic. That really brings the aroma up. And then we've got all of the medicine that's going in, all of our spices here. So we've got allspice, we've got cardamom, cinnamon, we've got a little nutmeg, and we've got fennel. Now, ground fennel is going to add a really unique flavor, and it's super important for digestive health. The rest of them, Mother Nature's antibiotic. So we've got the sniffles, and we've got a little bit of a cold coming on or a sore, scratchy throat. This is your medicine. You can make tea out of this. All right, so I'm just going to put all of them right in our blender. And again, the toasting of the spices, we've talked about that before, thinking like a chef. You can put those in a dry saute pan and just toast those lightly over the heat, and you'll smell all the beautiful aromas, and that lets you know that you've bloomed the essential oils. All right, I've got a combination here of almond and coconut milk. You can use any milk that's right for you. Now, please remember, chefs, a recipe is just a guide. If we're baking, yeah, we need to kind of pay attention to the science part so that our baked goods come out properly. But when we're cooking, oh, it's a blank slate. We can really use our chefy creativity then. So don't worry if you don't have the exact ingredients. Just use what you have and create the flavor profile that's right for you. We could do a little bit of fresh squeezed orange juice that would pick up the flavor of our beautiful compound butter that we made earlier. All right, so I've got a little bit of brioche here. Again, you use any bread that you like. I've got cinnamon raisin bread here, really soft and nice. It's gonna absorb that custard really well. I'm gonna put in just a teaspoon or two of a little bit of flour, and you can go ahead and use your favorite gluten-free if you're practicing a gluten-free nutrition program. It's just, again, gonna offer a little bit of thickening power. Let's go ahead and blend it up now, chefs. And then we'll pour it into our dipping container. And let's see how we've done. We want it blended really smooth. Oh boy, that looks great. And the aroma here is amazing, chefs. All right, so that's just a preview of what our guests are going to smell when they walk through the front door. And isn't that what we want to create, that homey, beautiful, warm, inviting atmosphere? All right, I had my cast iron preheating a little bit earlier. Don't want to burn the oil in there. and we're using coconut oil today. Now remember, coconut oil is going to turn out to be the cure for Alzheimer's disease. I have actually seen some cases in clinical study where we've been able to reverse the effects of Alzheimer using the lauric acid that's found in coconut. It really is magic. All right, so I've got a little bit of the coconut milk in here as well, and then we've got our beautiful spices. So let's go ahead and get our custard into our dipping container, and we'll move that out here so you can see what's going on. Oh, the herbs and spices are just amazing. All right, so we've got that ready to go. And then we've got our bread of choice. Hey, I've got a trivia question for you, chefs. We've got our raisins in our bread. Are there more antioxidants in dried fruit or fresh fruit? Well, dried is the answer. The water's absorbed and evaporated, so it concentrates, really I should say, super concentrates the antioxidant and phytonutrient power found in that fruit. So the answer is dried fruit has more antioxidant power. All right, let's see how our pan's doing here. And you can just see that the oil is starting to get, well, I've got a really professional culinary term for you today. The oil starts to get wiggly in the pan. So when you start to see that shimmer on the surface, you know that you're ready to go. All right, so we've got our custard here. Everything is seasoned beautifully. We've got our gorgeous bread. It seems like our pan is just about there. And when you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and dip the bread in the custard. Now remember, chefs, this is gonna take a little bit longer to cook than your egg batter, so do plan for that. And then you can just use the edge and wipe off the extra custard, just like you would in your normal custard. Oh, and there's that sound that we're looking for. All right, so let's go ahead and dip another piece. Don't overcrowd your pan. Remember, that's something we want to avoid with everything, including things like fried chicken and, when we're cooking meat. We don't want to overcrowd the pan. All right, there we are. So let's go ahead and leave it at that for a moment. And then when we come back, I'll show you the golden brown on that beautiful toast. All right, food and fitness lover, you know how I'm always trying to get you to think like a pro chef. Well, let's go ahead and use one of our handy hints from our chef playbook and make some compound butter. So you'll see the recipe in the book. Now, I've got a little bit of cherry jam. I didn't happen to have cherries, so we're in the middle of winter. So use your cherry jam, your fresh orange juice, and orange zest. We're just going to mix all that together. A little bit of vanilla would be really nice here as well. You can do a little bit of your pink salt, so we have a little bit of sweetened salt. So again, chefs, the recipe's just a guide. You're going to do the flavor profile that works for you and what your theme is for your brunch. All right, so I'm going to use the parchment paper to create the log. So I'm just going to press it out, and then we're just going to move the parchment paper back and forth a little bit. And you'll see that it'll make a really nice tight little log that we can cut coins out of and top our French toast with something really fancy. Everybody's gonna think they're having brunch at a 5-star restaurant. All right, we're heading to the freezer, chefs. All right, well, the French toast has been in the hot skillet for about 4 minutes on each side. You can see how beautiful and golden brown it came out, and that's exactly the look that we want. So let's go ahead and take it out and put it on our serving pan. And we just want to get a little chefy here. We made our compound butter, remember, chefs? And I use the Miyoko's butter. I really love Miyoko's Creamery. I do tend to go with Miyoko's a little more now because it is a whole food product, but it is made out of cashews, so you want to be careful with any allergens. All right, so remember how we rolled it up. We had our cherry jam, our juice, our zest, and look at how pretty that came out, chefs. So we can go ahead and flavor our butter any way we want. We'll just take a really sharp knife, and let's go ahead and get right in the center and get some nice coins cut. Okay, and then we can just top our French toast with a little bit of the coin. And let's see, we can see our cherries there. Isn't that beautiful? We talked about molasses before, but maple syrup is really a great source of plant-based iron as well. All right, so we'll move that out of the way. Let's add a little bit of some orange segments, and we're going to get really chefy here and supreme our segments. So you'll see that technique in your book. All right, well, it's time for brunch. We've got our fancy compound butter, our tofu French toast, and I think you'll agree with me that any one of your guests would be excited to receive this. The bread is so tender, and those beautiful spices that we use, oh, they fill this Ageless Kitchen with so much delicious medicine aroma. Well, I'm Chef Tina Martini. Thank you so much for spending brunch with me, and I can't wait to see you next time in the Ageless Kitchen. Here's to your health. Okay, so I've got the cherry. Let's get a bite of orange. Yeah, get some of that good compound butter in. It's exotic Indian warming spices. Yeah. What's
yes. Look at the dog walks up to it. Look at her tail back there.
That's my favorite part.
Isn't it something when you actually do a recipe and it turns out? Absolutely. I mean, it is an absolute party on the palate. So fresh. And let me tell you, chefs, these recipes are going to work for you.
What's up?